Hello, welcome to the Inner Goddess Interviews. I'm Lynn Thurman, and I'm chatting with women who are unleashing their inner goddess and following their soul path through life. And today I am super excited to welcome Jill Marie Chesrow. Oh, I got my tongue tied there. Sorry, Jill Marie. um, Jill Marie is over in Chicagoland at the moment, and she is a healer, seeker, teacher, pioneer, and artist. She's into following her soul path and following a soul-inspired living. So we're going to have loads to chat about. So thank you so much for this time, Jill Marie.
Thank you. I've been watching the interviews and I think it's amazing what you're doing. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh no, it's my pleasure, it really is. These interviews are actually a part of my soul-inspired living, so I never thought I'd be doing this.
So, fun, isn't it? It's fun to follow that.
It really is, and I was absolutely terrified of doing these. I thinking, all these fears and doubts come up, but I felt like this burning passion inside that I had to do it, so I did it, and it's been amazing and wonderful, wonderful experience for me. And I'm so pleased you're going to be part of it. Now, you've got a really, really interesting background because you're a registered nurse and you come from a traditional healing background in, I suppose you were in hospitals or clinics?
I was trained in hospitals, and then my main work while I was working actively as an RN, because right now I have not worked as a registered nurse for, I keep saying 6 years, but I've been saying 6 years for a very long time now. So I think it's more like 10 years that I actually have been in a clinical setting. My preference was long-term care. So I worked with the elderly in long-term care facilities, and then I also worked with developmentally disabled children. And then I also did some office work, working in a doctor's office, which, for the lay people, that's really a hard job. You wouldn't think so. It looks easy, but it's actually probably the most challenging nursing that I've been in. Just as a little aside.
Actually, I was a PA for a director of a nursing home, so I understand that hard work in the background.
Yeah, so you like long-term care too, building that relationship with people and being with them on longer term. I really like that part of nursing.
Yeah, you have to be called for that as well, don't you? Because especially with the elderly, you're in a job where their prognosis is not good, and you develop relationships. I think it's an amazing job, I really do, and hats off to all those people who do it, because you have to have a special soul calling to do that. Amazing work. So you're into more holistic not medicine, but a holistic approach to life now. And how did that happen? How did you switch from traditional to the more holistic side?
So that's a great story. When I went into nursing school, I was in my early 20s, and I really wanted to work with people and kind of help people feel better. That was something I wanted to do ever since I was really young. So I entered my nursing career, and I'm just going to say I was a little bit of a clueless 20-year-old. I was a little bit naive with kind of worldly stuff. But while I was in nursing school, there were two instructors that I loved. They just had such beautiful, loving energy. And they were teaching a weekend course, and it was called Therapeutic Touch. So I was really, excited to take it and learn from them because they just had this beautiful quality about them. So I took the course, and it was all about my first introduction to energy healing. So therapeutic touch is, working with the body and balancing the energy and stuff. And while we were there, they were teaching us Qigong and Tai Chi, and I could feel the energy at the time, which is something I thought everybody could do. So I was just like, wow, this is great, and it was wonderful and everything. But then I got back into my studies. So after that weekend was over, I practiced Tai Chi and stuff for a little while. But then I got, you have your exams, you have your clinicals, and I just got right back into traditional Western mindset, and it was, you know, push, 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 go, go, go. So I put that other stuff aside. I didn't really work with it very much. And then over the course of my nursing career, um, we have a genetic eye disorder in my family, and I didn't know that I had it. But when I was pregnant with my son, my vision started getting worse, and I thought that, I don't know if you've ever heard this myth that vision can get bad during pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this is just because that, you know, I'm pregnant, and then after I had my son, it was, oh, well, it's just because I'm tired and I'm not getting as much sleep. So fast forward now, my son's 5 years old, and his eyes started to cross. So I took him to the ophthalmologist, and the ophthalmologist diagnosed him with a genetic eye disorder called Best's disease, which my mom had. And I said, well, my son can't have it because I don't have it. And he said, well, you have to have it. So he told me to sit down. He looked in my eyes, and he said, yes, you do have this. He said, but yours is in the very early stages. So a couple years later, my disease in my eyes progressed rapidly. So I went from, I can still drive an auto at this point in time, but my central vision, is macular degeneration big by you in the UK? Do you know what macular
Yeah.
degeneration is?
Yeah.
So you lose your central vision, a lot of your central vision. So, you know, I can't read regular size print. I have to use a magnifier, which, you know, when you've got 56 patients and everything, it makes it, I'm not going to say impossible, but it made it very difficult. So I'm like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore, so I just started putting a prayer in the universe, and I said, what can I do where I can still help people feel better and my eyesight's not going to be an issue? And within a very short period of time, I met a woman whose sister was a Reiki master. And I was listening to her, and I just lit up inside, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So everybody around the table is like, wow, is she weird? And I'm like, tell me more. You know, I needed to meet her. So then I was reintroduced to energy healing, and I became a Reiki master, and then I went into reconnective healing and the reconnection work, and then the energy psychology and everything just kind of took off, and I was just like, thank you, universe. I got my answer. So I've really just been doing alternative, alternative therapies and everything for the last 8 years.
Oh, that's a brilliant story, because it just goes to show that if you've got something that's holding you back from the career you thought you were meant to be doing, that it doesn't, you know, life doesn't stop, and then there's other avenues for you to go, and you've actually found something that obviously resonates with you. You know, it makes your aura just go wee when you're talking about it. It's obviously what you were meant to be doing. It's a great story.
Thank you. Yeah, and you know, I have that seeker archetype, so I constantly want to learn. And I know that a lot of times people use that learning as an excuse to never kind of step out in the world and do the work. But, you know, if you've got Sagittarius in your chart in any key positions, that's that questing, that, you know, you wanting to learn, that desire to learn. So I really want to encourage people to always do a check-in. Are you learning because you're really super passionate about it, or are you feeling like you're not enough so you have to learn more? Because, you know, there's a difference in everything, but sometimes I think people almost make themselves wrong for wanting to learn more, and it's just like, oh, no, I'm just spinning my wheels, I don't need to learn more. But this is, you know, an evolutionary process of life, so learning and gaining knowledge and then implementing it and applying it is so important.
Yeah, I think you touched on the real thing there, isn't it? It's the implementing what you're learning. It's not, because I've watched some people, and I've done it myself. I've decided that I wanted to learn something, when really it's a form of procrastination. It's stuff I'm never going to use in life, and it's kind of like a safety net to stop me going out further into the world. And I think, yeah, I'm all for people needing to carry on with their education and learning, but you want to be able to use it and do something brilliant in the world with what you're learning, rather than just taking courses so you don't have to be in the world.
Exactly, and I think that I don't know what your clientele base and your audience base is, but you know, mine is people a lot like me who love to learn and everything, but like you just said, they don't take what they're learning and they don't implement it right away. So, you know, we're always here to help people that can benefit from what we have to share, and we all have something to share. So it doesn't matter where we're at, there's somebody that we can help and that will benefit from us and then us from them as well, right? So it's always a win-win-win situation.
Exactly.
And so that's what I love about this kind of alternative, what do you call it, what's this market called?
Like self-help or self-awareness, or let's make a word up if we didn't know it.
Right, just an amazing journey of life, just tapping into our own inner wisdom and everything. It's just so fun. It's never boring. So exciting. I want to do a happy dance like all day long. Even when I'm crabby, I want to do a happy dance. No, I'm lying. That's a lie.
I was going to ask for the secret on that one because.
Yeah, no, I just lied a little bit, but no, but it's fun, and you know, when you can look at it from that curiosity standpoint and everything, it even though sometimes it sucks, it's still kind of fun, even in the suckiness. So that's my personal perspective. Ask me again the next time I'm going through some stuff. How you doing, Jill? Doing your happy dance? No.
Oh dear. No, I've lost my train of thought. I'm thinking about you doing your happy dance.
Well, you know, is Abraham Hicks big by you?
He's quite popular over here. I've only read little bits and pieces of Abraham Hicks. In fact, actually, I found a book in the car boot sale, which is like a yard sale, for 30p, and I've been flicking through it. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm familiar with Abraham Hicks.
Well, I absolutely love Abraham Hicks. So, you know, it's really kind of big where I am and everything. And a lot of times people misinterpret that. And instead of like taking step by step up the emotional scale, a lot of people will say, you know, you got to go from, you know, you can't be negative and you got to go to the positive. And there's no time really to take that nice step to reach for the next better feeling thought. And I have my daughter's permission to share this, but my daughter actually has experienced an eating disorder in her life. She's experienced episodes of anorexia twice, once in middle school and then once in high school. And in high school it was really bad. She was actually hospitalized. And during that time I was going to a book club and we were covering Abraham Hicks material, and the man across from me, you know, he's just like, well, just reach for that better feeling thought. Don't stay stuck in the negative. And I really almost lunged across the table and did some serious bodily harm to this man because I wanted to really hurt him. Don't tell me to feel better when I'm afraid that my child is going to, you know, not make it through this illness that she had. So I always want to be real conscious in the work that I do, that even though I'm like joke around and I'm like happy dances and goofing around and everything, I know life can be painful. My son's legally blind. He doesn't drive. You know, he's 20. It's caused some, you know, depression in his life and everything. So, you know, again, life's real and life can really throw some stuff at you. So as long as you're present with it and everything and just really in tune with how you're feeling, then you can move through that and know, and then you really can reach for the next better feeling thought. So I don't want to make light of life, but I do have a lot of fun.
And I think that sometimes, because, you know, bad things happen, life gets in the way, you know, situations change, and you do have bad feelings and you can't do the happy dance all the time. And there's a lot of problems, I think, with people telling you that you've got to be positive when you really need to embrace exactly what you're feeling at that time, because if you don't, it's not going to go away. It's going to manifest in other negative behaviors, or it's going to come out somehow. So yeah, and life's a journey. It's ups and downs all over the place. I can't possibly go from a bad day where I want to kill everybody to being incredibly happy in like a moment or two. Sometimes it might take me a month. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, it takes you as long as it's going to take you, and then surrounding yourself with support people that are going to support you where you're at, but then kind of it's nice to be reminded that we are co-creative in this life process, and that we're more powerful than we think we are. Doesn't mean that we could avoid some of these messier parts of life. But knowing that we can feel like a victim but not be a victim all the time is kind of helpful, to know too. So I always say that, go ahead and dip your toes in the swamp, but don't just don't build a home in the swamp. So
I like that. My son, he had periods when he was younger where he would get very, very dark and depressed. I used to set him a timer. So I would say, enjoy these feelings. It's going to last you for 30 minutes, and then you're going to go up, like you said, like a next level. He could leave it. So yeah, like dipping your toes in the swamp, embrace it, and then move on in little steps
right,
sometimes. Is that what you
exactly.
Is that what you do in part of your work, is to help people who, to take them to the next step of feeling it maybe a little bit better?
I do. There's 4 stages of consciousness. There's the victim consciousness where people feel like life happens to them, and then there's a manifestor consciousness where people feel that life is happening through them, and then there's a channeling consciousness where, or no, the manifestor is by me. So it's life's happening to me, life's happening by me, and then life's happening through me, which is like the channeling consciousness, where you know that you're kind of channeling your higher essence. And then there's the 4th one, it's life's happening as me. And then, you're really standing in your divine power. So most of us we bop back and forth between all of them. So I like to help people, well, people in the last stage, they don't, they're standing in their power. They don't really need anybody to help them. But I like to help people that are in victim consciousness, but they know that there's a bigger picture, and they don't want to feel like that anymore. So I like working with that realm of my client base, but then I also like to work with light workers that are kind of expanding consciousness at a higher level. So I actually have 2 ideal, client base that I love to work with. And then kind of almost no matter where you are, there's a good chance you got some emotional baggage kind of blocking your energetic field. So I combine several different modalities to kind of help people clear, balance, and expand their energy field, reconnect to their true essence, and then live a life they love living, because I'm also a dream builder coach. I do so much stuff, and I love it all. So I can't pick. I have to do a lot.
I love that, living a life you love, because so many of us go through life tolerating it rather than loving it. It's almost like an endurance. Oh my God, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and the joy goes. I've been stuck in jobs where I hated it, and it was just like you get up, you do the same thing, and there's no joy there. And I think, that's great. You help people to find that kind of happy place, don't you? That maybe open their eyes to what they should be doing.
It really kind of helps people tap into their true essence, and then that takes over. So I'm just kind of here as a witness, and I'll help people remove the energetic blocks in their energy field, and then that gush of energy just flows in through them, their true essence, and then that's really where the magic happens. So, and then all of a sudden the realms of possibility open up, and people are just like, wow. So it's just amazing, when we have that connection. I know Google has a lag, right? I'm doing all these hand movements, sorry. But when you just open that up and you can just reconnect your heart essence, and expanding your heart chakra, because a lot of us have walls around our heart just from stuff that's happened in our lives and everything. When you've got that wall around your heart, then you don't experience and engage in life wholeheartedly. And that wall, you get to a place where it's safe for that wall to start coming down because it's just not serving you anymore. And life's meant to be fully engaged with and felt on a deep, deep core level. I'm really excited about this stuff. You can tell, right? See, this is why I want to do happy dance all the time.
It looks like you're doing a seat happy dance. You do look so happy. No, this is great work, because I think the world would be such a happier place if people were following their souls. That I always like to call it the soul path, where your soul is trying to lead you, because people are going to be happier. The world is going to be happier. It's a huge job for people to step up and help other people to do it. But the rewards are a better place for all of us. This is great work. I'm very passionate about this work myself, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I love watching you and hearing about what you're up to, and then seeing your essence, because like I said, I feel a lot, so I can just feel this dynamic, loving energy from you and excitement.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been on a similar journey to you, and it's led me here today, and I would never go back. I couldn't go back, and I just think that more people should be doing this. Dear. So people watching, do this. Do your soul work.
Yeah. And it might not always be fun, but it will lead to fun. So.
Yeah, and it's not always easy either, is it? There's work to be done. Even you have to step up and clear these energy blocks, follow paths that you never had planned, that are scary, that other people will look at you and think, oh my God, what are you doing? And but the rewards are huge at the end of it.
Yeah, and what I find so funny, because I don't know what your investment's been in your growth and education and everything, but mine is probably easily into if not six figures, darn close to it. And the bottom answer always ends up being the answers are within. And it was just like, wow, I wish I would have listened to that little bit of key information a little bit sooner. I might have a little bit more in my savings account, but the truth of it is that really the answers are within us. So our job is to turn inward. And if we have trouble doing that, or we don't feel like we have a super clear connection, then that's when people like you and I and all the other amazing people that you've talked to and are going to be talking to, that's where we can come in and assist. But our job is to just kind of hold that sacred space, use the gifts and tools that we have to help people open up to their own inner wisdom. So I like that part of it too, because when we get to the understanding that I feel like we both have, and the women again that you're interviewing, is that our job is not to fix people. Our job is to hold space for people to open up into that and then go within and trust their inner wisdom. So yeah, so it's awesome. It's awesome seeing people stand in their power and really kind of feel that empowerment.
Isn't it just? It's an amazing feeling where I don't know, when I've worked with people before, they come to you and you can just, their energy is kind of shrunk. And then when they start realizing that they've got their own potential, their whole aura changes, and so does their physical features. Have you noticed that? That people's faces will just, that it's like a cliche that they're glowing, but they do. They come in and they're closed tight, and they go out and they're like, wee.
Yeah, because really, literally, it's activating and expanding their light body. So for sure, that's like on the esoteric side of things, that it's really just their inner light expanding and their light body expanding. But then, yeah, you see it in the aura, you see it in their facial expressions, and their just whole energy opens up, like you just said.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. My chosen mode of using energy therapy, I love EFT, and you just see the results, and then you feel like, oh my God, you're all going off, and you're going to go and do wonderful things now. And I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've been part of your path, or I've been walking alongside you on your path, and it feels like such an honor, such a sacred to be given.
Yeah, for sure. Great. I like EFT. I don't actually use that with my clients a lot, but I do use it in my personal life. And like, are you familiar with radical forgiveness?
No, no, I'm not. What?
Oh, Colin Tipping. His name is Colin Tipping. It's radical forgiveness. I encourage everybody to Google it if they feel called to it. He's from England, I believe. Um, But where was I going with that? Oh, so I love to do radical forgiveness, and everything. But so I did a bunch of that, and nothing was working. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do EFT. And I did some EFT, and it totally shifted it. Whereas so much other stuff that I had been doing helped, I'm sure, a little bit. But EFT was really that final thing that helped me shift. So that's great that you do that. Is
Yeah.
that one of the main things you do with your clients?
Actually, I stopped doing it for quite a while, and this weekend I've been rewriting some copy, and I actually made a video this morning. It's something that I really want to do and introduce. I kind of got myself hung up on the technical side of doing things because I don't know. Do you sometimes get stuck thinking that you must do things a certain way because people expect things a certain way, so you kind of lose a little bit of your spirit and you give into it, and then just recently I've been having a no, 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 no. I'm just going to do everything my way, and people will either like me or they won't, and they come to me or they won't, and they have to take me as I am. So yeah, I'm just going to start offering those sessions up probably within the next week or so.
That's awesome because I think that that's really a good gift that you have to share with people. Because like you had mentioned, my face lit up when I was talking about something. I just saw your face light up when you were talking about EFT.
Oh, I love it. Oh dear, this is a bad interview. I shouldn't be talking about me. I've got to be talking about you.
No, because you know what? All of us work together for the betterment of the world, like you said, and it's just so fun to share what we're passionate about. So I'm glad that you're sharing that.
Thank you. Um, I'm a Pisces and I have my moon in Cancer. As you can imagine, that my life has been emotional, and I never ever knew how to deal with my emotions because you're younger and people are like, oh, just get over it. Don't, feel something else. And I used to spend so much time thinking, how can I change how I feel so it's not a negative emotion? And EFT was a huge, huge answer for me. It made my emotions manageable rather than um, destructive.
That's
and
awesome.
and I've used it so much in so many different situations, and it is so easy as well. I like easy.
Hmm. Yeah, I like Easy too, and it's a great empowerment tool to teach people.
Yeah,
So,
it's another thing that sometimes you can get the impression that healing is complicated or it takes a long time, and these kind of tools that we're using, then you can get results. You don't have to carry around issues or situations or negative beliefs with you forever. You can make big changes in small times.
hmm. Yeah, and it's easy, and then if something comes up again, you can address it in the moment or very close to the moment, which is another great thing, I think.
Do you still do Reiki?
It's a good question. Um, when I went from Reiki to reconnective healing, I'm not saying any modality is better than another because I think they're all beautiful and they're all massively wonderful. But when I went to reconnective healing, it's a different energy frequency. Now, Eric Pearl, who is the man who brought through the reconnective healing work, he goes in and says a lot of stuff um, that other healing modalities are subset frequencies of reconnective healing, that reconnective healing is a different bandwidth. You know, I'm not asking anyone to believe that. For me personally, the energy felt so different that all of a sudden I really wasn't able to put my hands on a person's body anymore. It was just like working further out in the energy field. So very, very rarely, unless, because I work a lot with my guides and then the client's guides, sometimes I will place my hands on the actual person's body. But for the most part, I just work in the energy field. And eventually, I think for a lot of people that do energy healing, they move beyond the modalities that they've been trained in, and then they work directly with their guides. So, I can't even necessarily say what I'm doing to reconnective healing anymore, which is why I need to change my website, because I do so many different things that, and each person's unique and individual. I'm not sure I answered your question there, but even Reiki now, I mean, there's fire Reiki, there's this Reiki, that Reiki. There's so many different forms of Reiki now. And what I think is that people are just expanding into this energy that's available to us on the planet. So, it's all of a sudden doesn't look like traditional Reiki anymore. Okay, well, let's label it this, and then let's certify everybody and their brother in it. And I never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to pull myself back. I love energy healing. I think it's amazing, and I think that anything that gets people in touch with their own divine nature, so they can bring through their, what's coming through them is perfect. Sorry.
No, that's okay. In some ways, it's kind of good that there's so many different variations. I suppose people that can then pick and choose to find something that resonates with them. But I think ultimately you don't need any kind of certifications you just need to activate what's in your heart and connect to your higher self to make the changes in your life and to help people.
Yes, and I just want to say that when I got attuned to Reiki, I mean, that expanded me. So I'm not, I didn't mean that to sound like an implication that it doesn't serve a purpose, because it surely did in my life. And then I just, I want to encourage people that once they've been activated and attuned in whatever modality it is they're doing, to, like you said, thinking that you have to do it a particular way. And if your intuition is guiding you to do it in a different way, and it's positive and life affirming, then I encourage people to trust their own inner wisdom and go with it, as long as it's in a loving, positive, life affirming way.
Because your intuition.
Yeah, please tell me that makes sense.
I understood it.
Okay, good.
Keep our fingers crossed. I'm pretty sure everyone else will as well.
Okay. If you have any questions, just let either one of us know.
I know, I get it, because intuition, if you follow your intuition, it's going to lead you to the right place in the end if you just put your trust in it. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start healing? Where would you suggest that they first look as being a healer?
I would tell people to kind of go within and ask their divine self, or their inner wisdom, whatever they want to call it. Kind of like when I said, universe, I can't do nursing anymore comfortably. I still want to work in this healing realm. Please show me. And within, I don't know, whatever time, all of a sudden this, woman who was a Reiki master came into my awareness. So pose the question to the universe and then pay attention and see what comes up. But getting trained in Reiki, getting trained in reconnective healing, I'm not familiar with matrix energetics, but I hear, that's another great modality. There's so many things out there. Just maybe gather 5 of them and see which one you get that full body yes in, because there's no wrong modality to train in. You know what I mean? Unless it's crazy. We're not talking crazy. We're talking positive, life affirming. And then just see which one juices you up and excites you the most, and then just say yes and do it. You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And obviously crazy healing is a totally different show. We shall be doing that one later. Oh, I love the idea of crazy healing. I think we could open a website. We'll have a cult.
No. That's funny. We all work in the light.
No, but that's great advice. I wish more people would just, ask in and trust what comes out.
Right.
So, I think we're wrapping up here. No more crazy talk.
Fun.
Jill
Fun just
Marie.
has to come in.
Yes. How would you suggest also that people don't take life so seriously when, to outward appearances, it looks very serious?
I am a big, huge fan of meditation, contemplation, journaling out stuff, just getting really clear on how you are feeling, because you have to acknowledge where you're at and then say, okay, would I consciously choose this in my life? No. What do I need to see? And then pose the question to the inner wisdom and just say, what am I not seeing here? What do I need to see? What can I see? What's beneficial for me to see? I was going to show you, I co-created a deck called Awakening to Your Divine Self Oracle cards with 39 other artists. So, obviously it doesn't have to be my deck, but get some oracle card decks. If you're newer to tapping into your intuition, get an angel deck from Doreen Virtue, has so many wonderful ones, and then sorry, there's a little fruit fly. Just start pulling oracle cards and just kind of getting some answers, triggering your subconscious mind and stuff. I think that's a great way to start.
Where can people get your oracle deck? I mean, this is important stuff. We need to know this.
We have artists all over the world. We actually call ourselves Fearless Sisters. So you can Google Google. It's www.fearless FEARLESS-sisters.com, and you can see all of the participating artists. If you're in the United States, you can go to my website, which is www.elementsofmastery.com, and you can buy directly from me. But for people that are, we have people in Ireland, we have people in I think England, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada. So depending on where you are, there's probably an artist that participated in this project.
Brilliant. So if you're in the US and you need that oracle deck, because you can never have too many oracle decks, then you need to go to Jill Marie's website, elementsofmastery.com, because there's a link there and you can buy it.
Thank you.
And on your website, elementsofmastery.com, people can work with you on one-to-one there. Can they book you up?
Yes, I do Skype. I do Skype sessions. I do phone sessions. I do in-person sessions for people that are local. So yeah, a lot of my clients are internationally based, so lots of ways to work together.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for this time. It has been an absolute pleasure. I've adored talking to you, and
I had a lot of fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we can do this again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Lynn.
That's Jill Marie at elementsofmastery.com, and I'm Lynn Thurman at lynnthurman.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye-bye.